Hey, what's up everyone? It's your girl Brain Shanae, and today I'm going to be doing my January wrap-up. Sorry about it being late, but please stay tuned.
Every single day, I'm gonna make something great. That's my way. Every single day, I'm gonna make.
And we're back. So once again, I apologize for the late January wrap-up. I know it's like February the 10th today. I'm sorry. Have a hectic schedule, especially at work, and just and I'm planning a wedding and stuff, so yeah, so sorry, but I'm still here, and I'm doing my January wrap-up. So with my January wrap-up, I was only like my TBR for January was to read Cersei and to read The Gilded Wolves, but I was only able to read one book. Womp womp womp. But I'm still happy that I was able to read one book, and it was one of my anticipated reads of 2019, and that was The Gilded Wolves by Roshni Krokshni. And I love this book, especially since it's historical fiction with some fantasy, magic, and everything going on with this book, and magical artifacts, historical artifacts, etc., and what have you. And for this, I rate this a 5 out of 5 stars because this is a great book, and it's also a diverse book. Like, for instance, you have Layla, who is from India. You have Zofia, and these are the main characters. You have Zofia, who is Jewish. You have Enrique, who is Spanish, so Hispanic, and then you have Tristan and Severin, and he is biracial, so he has mostly dark features. And you also have Tristan, who I believe have dark features as well. And with this book, it's a lot diverse, and it talks about slavery in this book too as well. And even in this book, they consider Enrique a mestizo, which is they consider that a mixed race of Spanish and other things and what have you. That's what they called them back then in the 1800s and 1700s, mestizo. And then you also have prejudice, because Zofia is Jewish, and so she went to a school, and she was basically judged, saying that Jewish people are crazy and they steal from you, etc. And I put a lot of stuff into this. I wrote a lot. I wrote my book. It says, so in this book, there's thievery, biblical references, historical references. There's discrimination because of race and religion. It talks about slavery in the U.S., and that's on, I even wrote the page number, on page 65. And it says, I'll just read this to you. I'm not trying to spoil it, but I'll just read it. It says, some mind affinity techniques were even banned, and for good reason. Until about 20 years ago, mind manipulation objects have been especially popular in the southern states of the Americas, where wealthy landowners kept slaves. So they're talking about slavery and the slave trade in America. And in a way, slaves in this book were manipulated because of what the Bible said, and what they were taught. So this was a great point of the mind affinity, which this is the reason why I was talking about magic. So in a way, they're talking about what happened in real life, and the magical part is they're talking about how during the slave trade, people, from Africa, they were manipulated from the mind affinity, which is like a magic somebody has or they were born with. So that's one of the key points in this book as well. And then on top of that, I have to go back to my little notes that I wrote in here. So like I said, Severin, you have Severin, who is the main character of this book, and he's mostly like their savior to everyone. He's a savior to Tristan, Enrique, Layla, Zofia, and they really look up to him. And he owns his own hotel, which is called Le Eden, and this is also located in France. And this is also during the time when they finished building the Eiffel Tower as well. And on top of that, I would like to say for this, so like I said, Zofia is Jewish, Layla's from India, Severin's biracial, Enrique is called mestizo, but also Enrique, he discovers his sexuality. He likes men and women, but he prefers men. And then you have Hypnos, who is one of the people of the the Order of Babel. So the Order of Babel is a group of people, a group of people, and they have their own thing. So let me see if I can find it so I can tell you more about the houses. So there's different houses. You know, like in Harry Potter, you have the houses, the different houses like Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Slytherin, and what have you, and, you know, Ravenclaw. And so for this, they're called the Order of Babel. So there's different orders in this book, where there's matriarchs, patriarchs who have power, especially when it comes to the mind affinity, magic, forging, everything like that, the art of forging. And it's like, I really love this book really much. I know there's a lot of people that don't like it. They think it was boring, but I liked it. I liked everything historical in this book. Even it talks about Egyptian stuff and hieroglyphs. Like, here you go. Here is this one. This is one image that's historical, and that is the Eye of Ra. And I was just thrown. I love Egyptian stuff. Like, I still want to go to Egypt so bad, because I love historical stuff, you guys. Like, I'm a huge historical person. That's why, hence my history degree that I have. So with that, I really enjoyed this book. The only thing that it might have prolonged, there was a little bit of prolonged stuff going on that really could have sped up a little bit. But on top of that, I understood it was trying to ease you into it, so you had to keep reading and reading and reading, and in order to get to the big picture. This book was very great. I even liked the ending. Like, you know, in like fairy tales, there's like a happily ever after. Well, this didn't happen. And of course, there's going to be another book, obviously, because of how it ended. And on top of that, the whole point of this was they were trying to find these certain artifacts in order for Severin to have his inheritance. And so they had to get the Horus Eye. They also had to get the they have rings for their houses. They had to get certain rings and artifacts in order to do this. And then on top of that, I don't want to say too much. All I can say is a lot of things they had to discover for themselves. There's a lot of sacrifice, manipulation. There was love. There's like a love affair going on that's weird in this book between Severin and Layla. And it's crazy. And I just like this because each character has their own talent. Like Enrique, he's an historian. You have Zofia, who's good with mechanics, mathematics. Layla, she's good at dancing. She's great at dancing and how to manipulate somebody's mind by just dancing. So she has powers, and Zofia has powers. Severin, he is mostly smart based on his knowledge of what he did, of what he's seen throughout his, as he was growing up. And Tristan is pretty much like his brother, Severin's brother. And Severin looks over all these characters in this book. And I was just blown away with this book, and I'm definitely can't wait to read the next one. So like I said, this was a 5 out of 5 stars. I know this is just one book this month in January, but I'm sad that it was just one book, but then I'm happy that I was able to read this book. But yeah, so this is it, my January wrap up, you guys. If you'd enjoy this video, this short video, please give me a thumbs up. Also hit that subscribe button and that bell so that you'll be notified when I upload more videos in the future. But thank you so much, you guys. See ya!